Hi, Scorpio. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Let's dive into your reading. There's something that you could have pushed away that maybe you're bringing back to you. Maybe something you thought you wanted to reject. Scorpios. Yeah, you could have been like tempted by something. You could have realized something was not all it seemed. So you're deciding to go towards something else instead. Something could have run its course, could have taught you all that you needed to know. I think it's time to be less defensive, perhaps. Something about like repeating something. Like maybe you're repeating a dynamic in a different light, in a different way, with more knowledge this time around, especially if you've gone through anything traumatic. You're like, holy cow. It's giving like when someone goes through a car crash and they're like, oh my God, I value my life. You know what I mean? Like, Scorpio. Yeah, you could be taking your power back, really understanding a lot more about yourself, which allows you to operate in your connections with more power. Scorpio. Yeah, there was some kind of negativity that was being cleansed from your karmic like aura or from your karma or something like that. You could have been keeping this silent or secretive from people as well. But it looks like you might be ready to like proactively balance the light and dark within you, advocate, really nourish something into more health. It's like you're doing something slower and steadier than you might have done before, especially if there was like a lot of energy pent up in you. You like finally released it. You know what I mean? Especially if there was like a buildup of karmic whatever. It's like you've worked through it and now you have like a lot more room or space or maturity to come into your confidence. Oh, sorry. Did you just hear that? I wonder if you heard that. Um, it's like mic test, like check, check. Like before it wasn't working, and then now it's like you realize what was out of sync. You put the chords in the right places, and you're like, oh, it's working. Like they can hear me. So maybe there was something about like you couldn't speak or something like that. Like you weren't speaking with authority in the past, especially with the Ace of Swords here and the Emperor. It's like you finally cultivated a greater sense of self-respect, of self-esteem, which allows you to attract more respect and self-esteem. You're realizing that and how that kind of correlates. I'm getting really hot all of a sudden. Oh my god. Okay. Maybe you're feeling hot and like you're feeling a new renewed sense of passion or something for somebody or something. Here, let's see, what is this about? What could this be for Scorpio? If everything that, yeah, it could be someone like the mother of your children, like especially if there's been like a little bit of a lull, which is pretty normal, right? Relationships, and then we death, rebirth, we have a new dynamic, and then it's like more passionate again, more intense again. It's giving strong feminine energy. There could be like a renewed sense of like sex or like procreation here or joy in general in this connection. Scorpio's most vital advice, please. Thank you. Yeah, it's like you've kind of like detoxed something, like maybe a way of communicating or interacting with people. So then now that you're operating in more of like the light space, a higher vibration, which allows you to have more fun in your connections as well. Dreams of abundance here. So it's kind of like you're reflecting on your subconscious, you're guiding the boat to shore, right? Something about the Phantom of the Opera could be relevant here as well. Maybe somebody's worked in an opera or something like that. Scorpio's most vital messages, please, of it this time. Trust the great mystery. So this is about it, like attuning yourself. Maybe you're advocating for like a more positive reciprocity dynamic, especially if this was what was draining you in the connection before. It looks like you're finally establishing more balance in your health specifically, or just in like your bills, how you separate things. How are you receiving as much as you're giving, and how can I advocate to receive more, right? And then establish that balance in my connection for more joy. There's something that you could have let go of, or it's like with the bear spirit here. This is about establishing boundaries, being like really self-respected. We see all the feathers there, which is about elevation of consciousness. We see the green right above his heart, which is the heart chakra. So it's like a renewal. We see a spiral there. So there's something that you've like had to go through to learn and adapt and embody. So Scorpio's most vital message. You can see that golden kind of bear vibe though. It's like you're really bringing more strength. You're realizing something here definitely. And then we have Rhino Spirit on the bottom, which is interesting. I'm not really, I'm just looking like maybe you were overly defensive before or something like that. Like maybe there was pride or ego or something. And then there's a spiral on his head again. So there's something about like we're doing the same thing over and over and over, but finally you understand something like, and that's okay to do the things over and over because we learn each time we go through it, right? You learn when you play a game, the first time you play, you're really bad. And then you play again and you're like, oh, you get a little better. And then you get better and better. So there's something about that as well. Like Scorpio, most important messages. Yeah, cow. So this could be like Taurus energy here, something about like, seasons that we go through to have like new fresh grass come out of the ground. You could have been like really sweet before, like, and this would have set you up in connections that were like taking from you far more than was right. And now you're kind of feeling that and allowing yourself to kind of become the queen or the king bee, right? So, any other messages for Scorpio? You could have even like stopped communicating with somebody. This could have been about like your living quarters, like renovating your house or renovating your emotional basis or your relationship in general, especially if you felt like rejected or orphaned. It looks like you're finally elevating, building stronger structures in that regard. Yeah, there's definitely a level of growth here. And there was a lack of growth in the past, and that's why this all had to happen to kick you out of stagnation, right? So um, let's see, Taurus. Fruitfulness, yeah. So it's like we finally like we've harvested all those crops, we've killed everything off so that we can prepare for new crops for the next season, and then now we're ready for the rebirth, right? So wisdom, you're getting a lot of wisdom, a new mindset, a new way of communicating in general because you understand yourself better, you have new information to work with, you understand yourself a lot better, which allows you to communicate a lot better, especially with the mother of your children, or like about real estate could be important, or about your emotions in general. There's definitely a level of purity coming in. You're expanding the mind, getting wiser. This could be about finances and connections, marriages, partnerships, just other people in your life in general, if not like a specific, marriage or anything like that. Yeah, there's definitely more wisdom, abundance because of this growth, like because of all this stuff that's happened. There's now a bigger container that you can grow into. So let's see what's approaching Scorpio. Mountains, yeah. So confront the mountain as you would a fierce foe. So this could be about finances, especially if there was any kind of issues with self-esteem or finances, or advocating for your savings account, for example. It's like you're bringing this up to go through the valley of the dark or through the deep. I walk through through the shadow of death, something like that. I don't know. I'm getting that. So maybe you want to Google that. hmm This clear obstacle is a chance to succeed. Courage and persistence are all you will need. Yeah. So it's like been a journey for sure. Yeah, this could be about working something out, like especially regarding shared finances. I'm gonna grab you some chakras, or like power dynamics with other people, like death, rebirth, coming into a new sense of self. Third eye chakra, aromatherapy. Okay, Palo Santo, nutmeg, chamomile. Yeah, this could be definitely about like power in your connections with other people in general. Like especially if you were like undervaluing yourself before, I think you're coming in with like more persuasiveness, more charm, more worth, and that allows you to change things, right? That allows you to enter a new paradigm. Yeah, this is like operating in a more joyful sense, not a prideful sense, but more joy, manifesting exactly from the heart, your divine destiny, so that you can actually be a part of equal give and take dynamics. I'm just staring at my painting. I don't know why they're guiding me to look at this. There's like I have a painting of this like beautiful big lake. It's not a painting actually, it's a photo. Photos could be important here. Maybe you're reflecting on something like memories. Maybe you love nature. Maybe you need to get into nature a lot more, especially with somebody else. Like you and this person could go out in nature, and maybe nature would be a great place for you to discuss things that you're concerned about. Like not in like a I'm gonna kill you in the forest type vibe, but like in a I don't know, just because when you're in nature, you're in peace, right? So and sometimes we can't discuss things when we're in the home where it's all happening, especially if this is like a spouse or a mother of your children. It could be good to like go to a park or go somewhere near water, take a seat, relax. You know what I mean? Kind of describe. I'm getting someone like talking like this is what I mean to talk to you about. I'd like to discuss it. I'd like to bring it up. Someone's trying to stop my speech. So maybe you felt like restricted in your speech for a long time. Like it's hard for you to talk about things, especially like, Scorpios are ruled by Pluto, which rules the underworld. So it really rules things that are hidden a lot of the time. And you can't keep those things hidden in the darkness. That's why there's the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Sometimes you've just got to say your piece, right? So, and just put it out there and see how they react, and see, and maybe you both can work through something out in nature. I'm getting the vibe of. Yeah, there's something about fruitfulness. Mistletoe could be important too. Yeah, there's something about like berries, like rose could be important, like rose hips. Maybe somebody's name is Rose. But let's continue. Yeah, maybe you're deciding not to reject a connection. Like you might have thought you had to let go of a person or something out of your life, and now you're realizing actually what we need to do is just change the dynamic here. Like whatever was happening in the past can't happen that way anymore. I'm going to step more into my power now. You can't overtalk me. I'm going to have a voice here, and I want to cultivate a sense of us being able to communicate on a daily basis. I think we have issues with our communication, if not daily, weekly. Like every day or every 2 weeks on this day or Thursday or whatever. I think Thursday's ruled by Mars, so maybe like Venus, like Fridays are better. Like every Friday, we're gonna get together and we're gonna do something. We're gonna go, talk or whatever. This will be our day of communication. So keep everything that you want to talk about. Like you can talk anytime, but if you ever have anything you want to work out, we'll do it on Friday, which is ruled by Venus, for example, which would be probably a better day to do it. I would assume. I mean, Venus is like a bit of a very positive planet for sure. Um, like how on Mondays everybody's always moody. That's because it's ruled by the moon, right? So and the moon changes all the time. Like it's waxing, it's waning, it's changing the signs, right? So But Venus rules relationships and love relationships and other people. It rules Libra, which is the 7th house, which is marriages, partners, contracts, the other person. It's the opposite of the 1st house, which is you, and the opposite is 7th house, Libra energy, which is ruled by Venus. So, Scorpio, thank you. Called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. So there could be like a new way of operating. Like we said, let's go ahead and read this. Called maybe like talking to people, right? Yeah, this could be definitely about real estate. There's a need to like you and another person have to communicate your feelings and work on emotional issues together, and that'll bring you closer, or at least have a deeper respect. If you're not aiming to like get closer to this person in any kind of romantic sense, it's to establish a stronger foundation in general. So and maybe that'll help both of you. You know what I mean? Like we come here on this earth to work with other people through our karma, to learn lessons, to elevate our frequency, and maybe we can do that together, right? Like maybe one Friday we'll go to a bookstore, the next Friday we'll go sit in the park, or we'll go to like a class on like, I don't know, yoga or chakras or healing or something like that. So that, especially because a lot of psychosomatic issues and illnesses could stem from like a repression of emotions. So things like that. Or we'll go shopping, or we'll go out for a nice meal, or we'll go for lunch every Friday, You came to Earth with the double mission to grow as a soul and to bring about a shift in consciousness. The best way to fulfill these personal and collective purposes is to trust that what your soul is calling you towards, for it's encoded within the most direct path forward. Your soul has many unique gifts that you came here to share. Some you may already be aware of, others you're just beginning to uncover. You're being called to remember that your soul intelligently chose the perfect conditions to carry out your soul's mission and share your soul's gifts. A lot of things are predetermined, especially with astrology and in life. So there is probably a reason for every person that you meet in your life. If you're being called towards a creative project, a passion, or an adventure, this card is your confirmation that you're facing the right way and that this moment right here is destined. If you're feeling underprepared or thinking, who am I to do that? This card is guiding you to step up and leap. And consider perhaps that your soul has been training for the moment, for the right here in lifetimes. Yeah, there's definitely something about training here as well, like maybe training a greater sense of joy into your reality as well, and how you actually emotionally think about things, how you nurture yourself. It's almost like there's a real need to cleanse, like iodine. I don't know, like I think they put iodine on before surgeries are done to kill anything on the skin. It's like there needs to be like, especially if there's been any like festering emotions or anything like that, there's a need to end it, so that we can cleanse and allow ourselves to get everything off our chest. There's a real level of authenticity that could come forth in a healthy way, I think. So we have lessons and blessings on the bottom, so transmuting karma along with another person could be relevant too. We'll pull some tea leaf, having some tea time, going out for tea or whatever. Maybe you need to discuss your finances, in a connection, and that's hard to talk with somebody about finances sometimes, and so we're going to have this discussion. We're going to go and try to clear and straighten this up because it's going to benefit both of us if we both have more savings, if we're both able to save a little money, separate our money in different ways so that we can save or pay the bills in the right way, cut expenses where they need to be cut, do things that we can help each other, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think there's going to be like a light that returns to your eye, especially if you do this with you or another person. More growth will come as a result regardless of whatever happens here, more material things. Yeah, there's more abundance, definitely more enjoyment of life, and you both can help each other work through that, especially if there has been any kind of broken wishbones. This is a great time to actually make a new wish, right? So maybe getting a turkey, right, could be relevant or something like that. Yeah, there's definitely something about like money, like maybe somebody's been spending money like willy-nilly, or has been impacting your finances, or hasn't been contributing, and there needs to be like a real understanding of this is important, this is serious, because it's impacting my life. I can't be a good partner if I'm always concerned about finances, right? So yeah, persevere and you'll overcome problems. Camels save a lot of water in their humps, right, for long journeys. So maybe you're planning on moving, or maybe this person's planning on moving, or there's definitely a change in some kind of move or shift or something like that as well. Yeah, maybe a job or career or like a new way of creating money or saving money is important. You were on the right path. So definitely like taking aim, just like try it. Why not, right? Like the bow and arrow, pulling it back, shooting an arrow towards something, just try shooting towards that target. You know what I mean? So yeah, being shrewd. Maybe it's a good time to like really come out of the dark though about something as well. Anything that's been festering in the darkness is a disease that grows, right? So reconciliation here, yeah. And I think this will only happen because you're able, pineapples I think have a lot of properties to them, but just by the shape of it, like we can see there's definitely like a defensiveness to the pineapple. And that could be part of this, I think there's a way to like roll a pineapple and then you take out the little spokes or something. So sharing could be an element here as well. Let's grab you an extra juicy message for Scorpio. Messages for Scorpio. Scorpio, people and placements, please. Kid Cudi, some music that's very like maybe listening to music with your partner. Could like get the mood going or something, especially if there's been like some kind of issue in sex or something like that. Seer. Somebody here could be a seer, or the spirit Seere could be important. You could look that up on YouTube. Kevin Bacon movies, or something to do with Kevin Bacon could be important. Maybe just bacon in general. I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to reform their eating habits, or maybe having more bacon could be important too. Keep boundaries. Interesting. So there could be a feminine that's keeping boundaries. If you are dealing with a masculine, be careful that this person is not using you for sex, that this person is not planning to attack you, sexually traffic you, murder you, or anything like that. Be careful who you talk to. And this is more of like a feminine sense. Interesting. Why is that coming out? I think you should only be careful if this is a new lover that we're discussing, I think. There could have been like a lot of animosity between you and somebody else. Yeah, someone was cold. There's a masculine here that's quite cold-hearted. Okay. Could be a Gemini. Be patient. Something about being patient. Interesting. Cherry in the reverse. Something here is not very sweet. Doesn't truly want commitment. Interesting. So maybe somebody needs like more space or room or something like that as well. I'm going to pull a familiar. Scorpio's most vital, important messages for the Scorpio people. Oh, Lord. Urgency, newt, and cunning in the reverse. Fox in the reverse again. Transcendence in the reverse. Custodianship. Interesting. So like somebody's not willing to protect something anymore maybe. Malice. They could be operating in a negative sense, in a negative way. We're going to go ahead and grab a wisdom. Scorpio's most vital messages for Scorpio. Loyal heart here, okay. Something about like the heart cracking open in one way or another, a key being unlocked. You can see those owls kind of pondering each other. Maybe there's like this seems like a one-sided connection, like somebody is ready to let something go and somebody else wants to stay or something like that. What does this say on there? Yes, no, it's like you're not sure where you stand with this individual. Never-ending story. Interesting. I'm going to read that. Self-criticism, the wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. There is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection, humiliation, self-loathing, and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. So remember, any thought that you put out, you create your reality, right? Quantum entanglement, right? If you move an atom over here, it changes an atom across the universe. Vibrations. It is the old story whose refrain is that you can't do this, you must not go there, you should not say that, lest the world come crumbling down. Today know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie and wants to protect you and needs to be seen as a victim. Love the lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. Sometimes your heart enters into a contract with another that results in pain, not because of abuse or neglect, but for other more complex reasons. Shame, fear of intimacy, or low self-esteem are the greatest challenges to the success of a relationship. Consider how valuable this knowledge is, however. Right now you have the opportunity of important healing, but you must reflect on the stories you weave about love, connection, abandonment, rejection, and loneliness. Not only do you need to begin a new story, you need to forgive yourself for telling yourself the old ones. Have compassion for the part of you that believes in all those narratives. None of them were ever true anyways. Fear, envy, procrastination, greed, and the perception of victimhood could all be active in your life at this moment. Are you comparing yourself with others, thinking their success should be yours? Yeah, I think this is what's really separating these two owls here. Maybe you're afraid. There's a need to be wise, right? Maybe you're afraid the good that is coming your way, so you step out of your lane, totally aware of what you're doing, but seemingly powerless to stop yourself. Are you back where you started, or in a situation that reminds you of past failures, financial insecurity scaring you? You must learn to love yourself through missteps and sabotaging moments. Use criticism constructively right now. Better yet, stop telling this story altogether. Make up a new one. The universe loves you deeply and will wait for you to figure it out. Tell a new story of success, and that is guaranteed. You can do it. Okay, honestly, this is kind of empowering. Like sometimes we've got to go. I heard this story recently about a girl who was drowning and the waves were coming, and she heard a voice in her head and it says, "Stop fighting, go down." And she went all the way down. They said, "Push against the floor and push towards shore." And she did that, and that was the only reason she lived. She went down, she pushed herself off the bottom and catapulted herself towards the shore, and the waves now worked with her. So stop fighting and struggling against the waves. There's something about that. Going with the flow, understanding what the waves are trying to teach you. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please hit like, comment, share, subscribe. You can get a personal by messaging me on Telegram. You can leave a tip through the Buy Me a Coffee link. Thank you so much for your likes and subscriptions. I love seeing likes. Thank you so much. And your subscriptions, of course. Good luck. Take care.